A woman is interrogated by a man in a protective suit in a closed room. Lena was part of an expedition to the anomalous flicker zone, but of the entire expedition only she returned, and she does not know what happened to the rest of the expedition. A meteorite falls on the old lighthouse on the coast of the United States. Lena gives a lecture on the nature of cancer and then gives up a weekend with friends. A co-worker is upset, her husband died a year ago. Should start living her old life, but Lena can't, she needs to paint the bathroom walls at home. She mourns her husband and starts painting. Suddenly, her husband Kane enters the house. Lena can't believe her eyes. How could this happen? She throws herself on his neck, but the man is cold and calm. The woman tries to find out what happened to their unit, but Kane behaves very strangely. He does not answer not one question. He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't even know how he got here. He was somewhere outside because he saw the door to the room and Lena in the room. He recognized her and came in. All of a sudden, he starts bleeding from his mouth. An ambulance takes him away, but on the way the car is stopped by a squad of armed men and takes Kane away, and Lena is given a shot of sleeping pills. The woman regains consciousness in an unfamiliar room. Just then, a woman enters and introduces herself as Dr. Ventress. She ignores all questions, but knows that Lena was in the military for 7 years before working at the university. Ventress then begins asking questions about Kane, why Lena was only interested in her husband's fate for the first 6 months, and what he said about his assignment. Lena refuses to answer, and then the doctor informs her that Kane is here, but he has a very serious illness. If she is told the truth, she can help. The psychologist demonstrates a strange sight outside the window. The strange phenomenon occurred 3 years ago after a meteorite hit. The lighthouse was surrounded by something they called a flicker. The warden went to investigate and disappeared. They've tried to enter it from the forest, sent drones, loners and military teams out of the water, none have returned. The boundaries of the phenomenon are constantly expanding. People were forced to abandon the base of the southern limit. And Kane clearly came from there. Lena recalls a conversation with her husband shortly before his mission. If you bypass the He-Flick limit, you can stop aging. The cell will continue to divide without dying, and the person will become immortal. Aging is a genetic error. She senses that her husband's upcoming assignment is unusual. Later, Lena meets the women working at the center, paramedic Anya, physicist Josie, and psychologist Cass. They are about to embark on an expedition to the Shimmer under Dr. Ventress. Lena goes to her husband and talks to him, although the man is in a coma. Later, she asks the doctor to take her along. She hopes to find out what happened to her husband and perhaps help him in some way. Lena is a soldier, a scientist, the kind you need out there. 5 armed women stand at the edge of the shimmering boundary and then go inside. Lena wakes up in her tent. She doesn't remember anything from the moment they entered the forest, and neither do the other women. From what it feels like, it's been 3 or 4 days. All the equipment is working, but there are no signals going out. The compass shows anything but the sides of the world, but can be navigated with a watch. Venters commands to depart. Soon the team comes out to a half-flooded house. Lena is surprised. The bridge is literally overgrown with flowers, and there are completely different species blooming on the same stem, as if they are in continuous mutation. Josie looks around the house, and suddenly something drags the woman away. Everyone rushes to help and with great difficulty pulls her to shore. Just then a huge crocodile comes out of the water. The women shoot, but to no avail. Only when Lena opens fire, the monster manages to kill. Later, examining it, she encounters the mutation again. It feels like someone is changing the gene pool. Lena tells the scientists that even stranger things awaited them next, shape changes and even duplicates. On the road, Lena learned the secrets of her friends that got them here. Anya is a drunk and loves illegal substances. Josie is suicidal. Ventress is sick with cancer. Cass has lost her daughter and her will to live. Soon the team discovers the old South Limit base. The women decide to stay in the old dining hall and find the belongings and weapons of the previous group. On the wall are written the names of soldiers, among them Kane's name, and on the table is a bag with a memory card. Josie inserts it into her camera and the women see Kane cut open the belly of his living comrade and something that looks like a huge worm moves under the layer of skin. But only Lena claims this. The others think it was a play of light and the group just went crazy and killed each other. In the pool, the team sees a strange body turned into a colony of lichens and plants, and at their feet lies the knife they just saw on the video. Lena takes samples and tries to solve the mystery. She is tormented by the question of why Kane volunteered for a suicide mission. The psychologist had to check on his condition. The woman explains that Lena confuses suicide with self-destruction. It's rare that anyone wants to truly kill themselves, but almost everyone destroys themselves, drinking, smoking, or whatever. A loud sound is heard in the night. Lena sees movement in the darkness, and the next moment an unidentifiable creature drags Cass away. Her screams can still be heard in the gloom, but the woman cannot be found. Anya advocates an immediate return. Ventress intends to reach the lighthouse and goes ahead. Lena suggests going with her and, once they reach the shore, follow it to the perimeter, simply because the coast is much closer. The women accept her plan and head for Ventress. In the forest, Lena sees strange roe deer with horns, branches, and then finds the remains of Cass. The group goes further and soon comes to an abandoned house, with strange figures of people, plants in front of it. Josie discovers that the waves are not blocked at all. They are refracted. The signals are not gone. They are just encrypted. And the leaves from the strange plants are human genes that define human structure. The flicker is a prism that refracts all the signals waves and DNA of animals, plants, and humans. The group decides to stay the night in a former bedroom. Lena recalls an affair with a coworker at work and Kane knew about it, so she thinks what happened was a big mistake. During the night, Anya disarms the other members of the expedition and ties them to chairs, accusing Lena and Ventress of lying. They obviously knew about everything, but didn't tell them. Suddenly there is a cry for help, but it is Cass's voice that is heard. Anya rushes to the rescue and falls into the clutches of the same beast, a mutant bear. He enters the room. From his mouth comes Cass's voice. Lena orders her friends not to move or react while the monster examines and sniffs them. Jose manages to free herself, and she shoots the mutant bear. In the morning, Ventress leaves the group, heading for the lighthouse, the center of the anomaly. Lena tells Jose that she has tested her blood. The flicker is already in it. Jose recalls Cass's voice from the mouth of the bear. Apparently, a piece of the woman has entered the flesh of the beast, and it's horrible. And the next moment she finds plants sprouting on her hands and transforms into a blossoming figure. Lena follows Ventress' trail to the lighthouse, seeing new wonders of rebirth, glass scaffolding and bones strewn on the ground. Inside the lighthouse, she discovers human remains and a video camera, turning on which the woman watches Kane talk about losing his mind and then ending his life by blowing himself up with an incendiary grenade. But in the next instant, Kane enters the frame. Apparently it's the doppelganger, who has returned from the Shimmer. In a dungeon created by a fallen meteorite, Lena finds Ventress, who claims it's inside her. It will grow and will not stop until it has taken over every living cell on the planet. The world awaits disintegration, annihilation. The next moment, flames erupt from the woman's mouth. It is as if she is burning from the inside out. Ventress's body disintegrates into particles that are folded into a new organism. First, an unusual symmetrical formation, then absorbing a drop of Lena's blood into a humanoid with shiny skin. Lena shoots at it, but the bullets do no damage. The woman tries to escape, but the humanoid keeps getting in her way. The creature keeps her from leaving the tower, repeating all her movements. Lena reaches the exit, but the humanoid catches up with her and presses her body hard against the door, after which they both fall to the floor synchronously. Lena moves away, but the creature follows, copying its every move. The woman finds another grenade in Kane's things and puts it in her hand, because by now the humanoid has taken her exact form. She pulls the pin and runs out of the lighthouse. The creature loses Lena's form and begins to burn, setting fire to Kane's remains and then to everything around it. The flickering around it disappears, and various objects that have already managed to change their structure and cell composition flash and burn. Lena is interrogated again. She cannot describe the shape of the creature, does not know the structure of its cells, its desire and intentions, but one thing is certain. The creature did not want to destroy anything. It simply changed the world around it, creating something new. But now all that's left of the lighthouse are ashes. The scientist tells Lena that after the flicker disappeared, Kane came to his senses and seemed to come to life. She is allowed to meet him. The woman is concerned about who. He is clearly not Kane. But the man isn't sure of anything. He asks his wife an answering question, but she can't answer anything definite either. But as they embrace, the color of their eyes begin to change. The flicker continues to exist within them. Write in the comments what you think about it.